You may have thought the legal battle for the 2010 BP oil spill was long over, but that's not the case.
A new wave of lawsuits hitting federal courts, including here in Mobile. Fox 10 News investigative reporter Brendan Kirby has been digging into those suits.
Hundreds of people living in Mobile and Baldwin counties who say the spill made them sick have been waiting years for their day in court. It might be years before they get that day. It was one of history's largest environmental disasters, and for thousands of Gulf Coast residents, it's still not over, even almost a decade later.
It was a fine line between life and death, I can tell you that.
Sherry Carney was a Dauphin Island city councilwoman and long-distance runner who planned to make her house on the island's fragile west end her forever home. Then, her life changed forever in 2010. That's when the Deepwater Horizon blew in the Gulf of Mexico, sending almost 5 million barrels of crude oil to the beaches and marshes of the coast. Carney says the constant assault of toxic fumes eventually sent her to the hospital.
My respiratory system, after those 4 episodes of ventilation, won't ever be the same.
Carney says that in 2012, she spent 34 days in the hospital.
I was on a ventilator 4 different times.
She's one of thousands of people who blame BP for chronic or late developing medical problems who missed out on a settlement negotiated as part of the litigation against BP following the spill. A ruling by a federal judge in New Orleans barred people who didn't have a doctor's diagnosis by April 16, 2012. BP has asked a judge to also transfer Carney's suit, which her lawyer filed in New Orleans. As they have with thousands of other lawsuits, BP lawyers denied in a court filing that the company is responsible for Carney's injuries. Everyone who missed out on that settlement had to file individual suits, and each one will have to be tried separately. Miami lawyer Craig Downs, who represents some 2,000 plaintiffs.
We have cases that are now booked all the way through 2020 and 2021. And a lot of these courtrooms weren't designed to handle this large volume of cases.
The ailments plaintiffs are complaining about range from chronic conditions like respiratory damage to more serious long-term conditions like cancer.
What we have shown is that some specific jobs associated with oil spill cleanup were related to decreased pulmonary function, lung function, when we did these tests of how well people could breathe in and out and how forcefully.
Dale Sandler, chief of the agency's epidemiology branch, tells me researchers found an increased risk of heart attacks and cardiovascular disease that potentially could be associated with the spill.
You know, I would get out and walk and I couldn't go a block without stopping. And that's very frustrating when you have everything physically that you used to do and you tried doing it and you get angry and you get frustrated.
Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.